Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream on Polkadot social media. Today, we are talking with the folks from the new and improved Polkadot Ambassador Program. We have joining us Lucy from the Ambassadorship, Don Diego Sanchez, the Frenchman with a Spanish name, Pac-Man Media, who's supporting their marketing efforts, and of course, Christy from Parity, the Chief Legal Officer and Interim COO, if I have that right.
Correct.
Cool. And I'm your host, Evan. So there's been a lot going on over the last few months with the Polkadot ambassadorship. And I thought we could just quickly start with you, Lucy. If you could first just give us a brief intro of yourself, and then tell us, how did we get to where we are today?
Yeah. Okay. So, hi everyone. Thanks so much for being here. So I worked for Parity with Bjorn for a couple of years, and then for the last 9 months, I have been a solo ecosystem agent. I joined the ambassador program 2.0 as a head ambassador, and that didn't quite work out as planned, which then led us through various not particularly smooth pathways to where we are now. Very quick background: since pre my time, the first ambassador program was set up in 2019, led by the Web3 Foundation. And then Giotto, who we all know well, decided that wasn't being utilized to its best, which I think was the case. There were up to 5,000 ambassadors at one point, but not everybody was active. So he introduced Program 2.0. As I've said, that didn't work out. So what we have tried to do with this ambassador fellowship is build something that takes on all of those learnings from both programs 1 and programs 2, and build something that can sit comfortably alongside the technical fellowship, which has proven to be a great success, and build and take all of the voices from the community, or as many as we could, to bring all of that together into this. So it's not brand new. We're very mindful and incredibly appreciative for all the work that's gone on before, and gone on before I was even here. And hopefully we've delivered, or will deliver, something that that encompasses the best of everything so far, as well as meeting the new needs of decentralization.
Great. So just so I understand, we had a initial ambassador program set up by the Web3 Foundation circa 2019, kind of was moving along until 2023-ish. And then there's 2024. Okay. And then Giotto, who's a sort of a dot activist participant in the ecosystem, came in and suggested a new program. There was sort of a false start with that. Some improvements were made, and now here we are with the new program. Are we calling it 2.0? Is that what I heard you refer to?
No, so 2.0 was Giotto's initial program. This is the Polkadot Ambassador Fellowship.
Polkadot Ambassador Fellowship, drawing some inspiration from the technical fellowship, as I'm sure we'll hear in a second.
Yes.
So let's go over to you, Don Diego. Could you run us through this new fellowship and tell us how it works and how people can get involved?
Yeah. Thanks, Evan. So, can you see my screen? It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So, yeah, basically, this new ambassador fellowship will have the mission to build the largest on-chain decentralized community in the world, one that will be open, resilient, and trustless. And like Lucy said, that will tackle the new challenge posed by the decentralization of Polkadot. So as Polkadot is a different ecosystem, our ambassador program, or like we like to call it, the ambassador fellowship, has three big challenges you need to tackle. So basically, on one side, it has to empower thousands of ecosystem agents. So the Polkadot community, and the active one, is really big. So the fellowship need to be scalable and suited for this number of agents, and at the same time it needs to empower them to help them overcome, like we said, the decentralization of Polkadot and the new issues and challenge that we are facing now. And the most important things maybe is that it also needs to be future-proof. So we don't know yet what will happen in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years, and the ambassador fellowship must be able to adapt. So when we designed this new fellowship, we had those 3 main objectives in mind. So we tried to do something that were open, efficient, and future-proof. And obviously, the 3 main issue we were facing is trying to fight centralization, trying to fight bureaucracy, because it's easy to fall to those solution, when we are trying to build something like that. And maybe the most important part was it needed to embrace Polkadot's value. So we quickly defined this direct foundation to create a successful fellowship. And basically it's summarizing the keywords that helped design the fellowship. And thanks to a lot of work with the community that we did in the 2-3 last months, and the gathering of the good ideas, and like Lucy said, the learnings of the past, we managed to write a new manifesto that's basically a fork of the technical fellowship manifesto that's just adapts to the challenge of ecosystem agents. So this new manifesto was enacted by OpenGov with the Ref 1267, and it basically created 2 new tools for OpenGov. On one side, we will have an ancient reputation system that will be suited for, let's say, the way the first program was made, the Web3 Foundation program, where we have a lot of ecosystem agents all over the world, and we need a simple tools and a way to identify them, to acknowledge their works, and to empower them with the ability to represent Polkadot. And on the other side, we will have a new funding mechanism that will try to easily put the fund in the hands of active and efficient ecosystem agents in the most efficient way possible. So now Lucy will introduce you what's about the Ambassador Fellowship and this reputation system.
Yes. So one of the biggest differences between the Polkadot Ambassador Fellowship and Program 2.0 is that we have uncoupled salaries and rank. So there will be no salaries attached to any of the ranks, but everybody within the Ambassador Fellowship and outside the Ambassador Fellowship will have access to the fragment funding, as well as every other fund that already exists. But for the purposes of the fellowship, we are focused on building a reputation system that can that will empower agents to represent Polkadot in a sort of an approved way. So obviously anybody, and we hope there's going to be thousands of people who can say that they are a Polkadot ambassador at a certain rank, but being on chain and being part of something that we hope to grow into a universally recognized on-chain system, it will in the future carry a lot of weight. So we want to build a fellowship that recognizes achievement, gives agents legitimacy. They are they're more recognizable both internally and externally. We'll do that through rewards and recognition by also giving really meaningful titles. Next slide, please. So rank requirements. In the manifesto, we have detailed what each rank should look like, but when writing the manifesto, we had to be very conscious that the ranks will be more of a social contract between agents, between fellows once they are in the program. But we needed to provide guidelines to allow us to seed those initial ambassadors and give sort of set expectations from the start. But these are not by any means written in stone, but they are a guideline. And for anybody that wants to be seeded in this initial phase, please take a look at these when considering where you believe you should be ranked. To make this,
I have a question, Lucy.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt your flow. I just want to, I think a question that some of the viewers have as well is, will people be seeded into all of the different ranking levels, or does everyone sort of start at rank 1 or just rank 1 through 6?
So yeah, so when the fellowship is up and running, then rank 0 will come into action. Rank 0 is an advocate ambassador, and all you need to do for that is open a wallet, buy 1 dot, lock it, and you will be an on-chain advocate ambassador. So there are very minimum requirements because we want to make this a global program open to anybody. And then our responsibility as fellows already seeded is to encourage anybody who comes in at rank 0 to climb the ranks. For the seeding purposes, we will be seeding from rank 1 to rank 4. Rank 5 and 6 are specifically sort of out of reach for the majority of who we think will apply. They are, we all need something to aspire to be, and those ranks are sort of almost a new world of a new supporting layer of leadership for Polkadot. So everything has come down very heavily on, the Gavins, the Bjorns, the Robs, the Chrissys, and we have a number of many incredibly talented individuals who could have the ability to be on stage and representing Polkadot like that on the global stage. And so we hope through this fellowship we'll create a way for them to have a legitimacy to do that. So that's how we will be ranking. Ranking between seeds 1 to 4. Next slide, please. To make that simpler, because we understand that this initial seeding process is going to be quite challenging because I think there's, particularly when people are deciding between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But to make it more simple, this is how we've divided the 6 ranks. So we have listening and learning as the focus for ranks 1 and 2. So starting your journey, we're building an educational platform with Rada, who's just finished the Blockchain Academy platform. So that your main focus will be listening, learning, starting to engage, but generally. Then we move on to engaging, both internally and externally. And then the tier C that we hope to aspire to is that leadership and innovation, representing Polkadot on a global stage. I think
nice.
I can now.
How many?
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask? I know it's very difficult to do in a globally decentralized network of ecosystem agents and participants, but do you have like rough numbers of how many you think will be in each category to start off with?
So we hope to seed 100 ambassadors. We already have, I think, 70 people
Wow.
who have already applied or are filling in application forms. So we hope that we will have a relatively balanced across the 4, but it's more likely that we will have more 3s and 4s because of the people that have been in the previous programs and the people that are generally engaged. But doing things like this, Evan, on the Polkadot stage, we hope that we're going to attract more people in at those lower ranks, because really the program will very much be built around those people. How can we make this journey from rank 0 or rank 1 in this case as easily navigatable, and as how can we inspire as many people as possible to want to rise through the ranks? So
cool.
That's what we hope.
And just to reiterate what you already said, tier A, the lower ranks, are kind of welcome to anyone that's just showing interest and a willingness to learn and get involved can join.
100%, and they all come with a pretty heavy hitting title, I think. So we've got no juniors here. We wanted each one to be able to stand alone if you are representing yourself externally. We didn't want anyone to be in a position where it's like, oh, if you're junior ambassador, can I speak to the head ambassador, for example? So they all stand alone, and every single rank has the same access to the Fragment Initiatives Fund. So it's a reputational system rather than anything else. So there's like coming in as a 1 or 2 is fantastic, and you'll be part of building. And I think at this point, coming in as 1 and 2 will be even better than any other time, because you will really be able to work with you to build a program that is representative of people at that level. Because I think we all forget. I don't realize how much terminology I use these days, and I'm still not a technical person at all. So it's great to get in people who are just starting to get into this, as well as all the much more very experienced people.
Okay, cool. Let's
it's
continue on to. Oh yeah.
yeah, sorry,
go
just
ahead,
a small comment. It's also a way to make sure that people in tier B and C are knowledgeable enough about Polkadot. So it's a way to learn, but also to check knowledge and make sure that people in rank 3 or 4 are able to onboard companies or users and really grasp what's Polkadot.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucy, back to you.
We can move over to onto the Fragment Initiative Fund then, which is Don Diego's baby.
Yeah, thanks, Lucy. So alongside this new reputation system that will hopefully incentivize a lot of agents into representing Polkadot, we also identified that, and that was the purpose of the program 2.0, that without funding, it's really difficult to have achievement, success, and impact. So alongside this reputation system will come a new funding mechanism, which is called the Fragment Initiative Fund. And the purpose of this new funding mechanism is basically to provide ecosystem agents with what we're calling operational blocks. So it's a slot of budget up to 10K that can be spent every month. So the idea that on one side you will have many ecosystem initiatives applying to Fragment, and on the other side, dot holders choosing the initiative they want to fund on a monthly basis. So it's aimed at small initiative for thematic or domestic ecosystem agents that would have identified clear issues or challenge that they believe they can tackle on themselves. But for that, they will need either a salary or a budget or a cash reserve, any kind of access to fundings. And the idea that it will, basically increase dot holders' ability to support a lot of initiatives without the initiative leaders having to go through OpenGov, because OpenGov is a really stressful process. And especially for small initiative, sometimes maybe it's not even worth the pain to go through a month of campaigning. And like we all know that OpenGov is quite the process. And the other benefit of Fragment will be to reduce OpenGov solicitation. So at the same time, we'll be able to multiply the number of initiatives and reduce the solicitation of OpenGov. Yes, Evan?
Yeah, so super interesting that this provides a more direct way to fund initiatives for growing the Polkadot ecosystem without the need to go through the 30, 40-day process of OpenGov. So can you explain to listeners like what type of initiative would make sense to be funded through this sub-treasury? So for example, if I were to come along and propose setting up a booth at a conference, for example, would that go to like events bounty? Would that go to marketing bounty? Would that go through here? Where would you say that would go, for example?
It's another desk to get fundings for a new kind of initiative. So if what you want to do fall into the meetup bounty or the event bounty, I would still suggest to go there, because that's probably the best way to get fundings. But it's Fragment is supposed to answer to a new kind of initiatives for the ecosystem, mainly driven by the decentralization of Polkadot. Like there was a lot of departments that were managed by the W3F or by Parity that are now managed by no one. So the Fragment Initiative Fund is a new way to support a new kind of initiative, smaller ones, and ones that need monthly or recurring budgets. So I think later we have some example of the kind of initiative that can be funded. And basically it's aimed at solo agents, group of agents, and communities. And each of them can design an initiative and ask for funding for that. So if you're a solo agent, for example, you could ask for funding to become an ambassador, like the program 2.0 was expecting ambassadors to be. So you're alone, you will get, you will be involved full time in your initiative, and you will try to represent Polkadot towards, I don't know, government, companies, a certain a typical kind of users, you know. So you can do that, but it can also support content creators, biz dev agents, some research project or stuff like that. And for a group of agents, for example, like the editorial board is a really good example of what we can find with Fragment. Like we have this group of 5 people that requires $2K per month to operate our social networks, basically. So this is typically the kind of things that Fragment should help facilitate. And we could have task force like that all over the ecosystem. And those task force could address all the issues posed by the decentralization of Polkadot. And
Amazing.
the other use case for Fragment is also communities, you know. DAOs and communities are popping all over Polkadot, and that's a really good thing. It's the future of the community. And Fragment could be a way to empower them too, you know. I founded Lenexus, and I can see that if you were giving us 10K per month, we could do marvels. We could increase the visibility of Polkadot on our domestic market a lot, and in a better way, sorry, than any other ecosystem agent, because we are there, we are on the field, so we know better what to do to improve Polkadot's image there, for example.
Got
so
it.
it's really flexible. It was designed to be versatile, and really the only limit will be the hive mind imagination, you know. So and really people should understand that it's completely uncoupled from the ambassador fellowship. So it's actually open to any token holders. You don't have to be ambassadors to apply for Fragment. Like communities cannot be ambassadors, you know, and they can apply. So it's really a new funding mechanism to make OpenGov and make the dot brain, the dot hive mind more efficient.
Okay.
Can I say, I want to just say one thing, not to confuse people, but this is very important for the current applications, which we will go into later, but just to mention that for the purposes of, if you're applying now for a Fragment slot for this kind of mimicking incubation phase, you do need to also apply to be seeded. You won't need to for Fragment once it is established, but for these purposes, the budget that we have is to grow and build the ambassador fellowship. So initiatives need to be geared towards things that ambassadors will be doing, and the lead of every Fragment initiative and anybody who is receiving any type of sort of salary from the Fragment system needs to be a seeded ambassador. But once the program is established and it's for the whole community, that won't be the case. But that's important to note now, because a few people have asked about that.
Yeah, but we'll go more into those details when we will talk about the interim phase.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it here so that when if this is spliced, that it comes straight afterwards.
And actually, just before talking about that, let's just go over the process of the Fragment Initiative Fund, because it's a bit foggy for some people. So it's divided in 3 steps. First, there will be a funding referendum on OpenGov. So there will be a referendum stating, like, we want to allocate this amount of money for this duration to open this number of op blocks. So token holders will decide basically the number of initiatives that could be funded through Fragment. And maybe at the beginning it will be every 3 months, but maybe it could then be every 6 months, and maybe yearly at some point when everything will works properly. And once the funding referendum is passed and the Fragment initiative palette is founded, then project leaders and initiatives bearer can apply and ask for one of or many slots. It's not a block, like you could ask for 2 or 3 blocks. And once application are over, dot holders will be able to vote for the initiative they want to support with their dots, and they can split their stack on every initiative they want to support. The only limitation is that one dot can only support one initiative. So the idea, and where we think it's better than the former system where each ambassador was chosen by the whole body of token holders and the whole supply of dots. With this new system, the whole supply of dots is divided among all the applicants. So we believe it's a more fair system, and it will allow a more diverse panel of initiative to emerge. And once the fragment election are over, the initiative with the most support, so let's say we have 15 op blocks available, then the 15 most supported initiative will get access to those op blocks, and they will be able to spend this money. And basically, each time they will request an amount, they will have the ability to justify why they're requesting this amount, and they will have they will be able to put a memo and basically to explain to token holders why and how they're using the money. And the idea behind that is that it will be up to them to make sure that the token holders have all the proper proofs and invoices and justification and to audit the initiative. And the way initiative will be maintained is that basically when you will choose some initiative during the fragment election, it will stay like that month to month. So you will only need to revote if you want to change the initiative you're supporting. But if you want to support for a whole year 4 different initiatives, for example, you will vote once, and for the whole year, the initiative you're supporting will get your support. So it's supposed to be easier for the dot holders to support ongoing initiative without having to vote all the time. And yeah, that's it. And basically at each end of spending period for fragment, a new referendum will be posted to OpenGov to found the palette again. And it will basically be up to initiative leaders to have success and impact and convince dot holder that we should continue the fragment initiative fund and maybe even increase it and have more blocks.
Okay. So we covered a lot there, very important stuff. So let me just make sure that myself and all of the viewers understand it. So sometime in Q2 of next year, there will be an OpenGov referendum to fund the fragment funding period. How long will that funding period last, for example? Is that to fund like the rest of 2025 or?
We don't know yet. And
okay.
actually, that's the purpose of the interim phase. So there is a lot of aspects that actually need to be battle tested, tested on the field to make sure they are pertinent. So we started, we bootstrapped the fellowship, the Ambassador Fellowship and the Fragment Initiative Fund with the first ref to cover what we are calling the interim phase. And maybe Lucy can take over because she will basically answer your question, Evan.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Lucy.
Fantastic. Before we do, can I just introduce Chrissy and Pat? Because I realised they've just been sitting there for half an hour. And so I want to just, well, I know you did, but in terms of like how they're, probably should have brought them in when we were first talking about it. It's kind of what their involvement is, and it's part of the interim phase.
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm going to bring both in. So just a quick overview of the interim phase, and then I'll introduce Chrissy and Pat-Man for what they're doing in it. So so the interim phase is Q1 2025, but it actually kicks off now. and that's when we are going to be utilizing the most of our advisory board's time. So I will get into the interim phase, but to introduce Chrissy and Pac-Man, I need to talk about the establishment phase, as we call it, which is basically, lucky for us, Christmas. So it's between now and the 6th of January, during which time myself and Don Diego will be helping the advisory board, to collect together all of these applications for both the interim funding and the seeding. And then we will be presenting these to the advisory board. Deadlines will be shared on another slide. And the advisory board will be making the sort of the final decisions around these things, because ultimately there are some decisions that have to be made, even though this is very much focused on decentralization. So we selected a board of the most long-standing, knowledgeable, and well-respected senior leadership within Polkadot, and asked them if they would generously give their time to act as an advisory board for 10 hours over this month, between now and the 6th of January, and then 2 hours a month for the incubation phase, at which point they and we, the community, will decide whether having an advisory board still makes sense, how big does it need to be, who does it need to be on, etc. Chrissy is here as a representative of our advisory board. And then Pac-Man here is working with us starting now. He's going to be leading our social media and sort of marketing, which will be going on in the background, more to support our seeded agents in the beginning, but building up a program that we can unleash on the world come Q2 2025. So I'm going to just go over to Chrissy for her to explain a little bit about how she sees the advisory board functioning and why she's said yes to being a part of it.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, Don, Diego, and Evan. And, I'm really pleased to be part of the advisory board and provide my time to help get this started in the best way possible. Because let's be honest, decentralization is hard. It requires a commitment. And, I definitely think you will look around at other protocols out there, ecosystems out there, and decentralization is a spectrum. We're always on the leading edge. And I think it's really important to support that however I can with my very particular skill set, whatever the advisory board needs. And, in the end, if I take a step back philosophically, why I'm involved in this is because really we're seeing that evolution of communities working together to govern in this decentralized world. And Lucy, I think it was in the one of the announcements that you drafted, which it's of the people, by the people, for the people, right? And I think, that's side note from the Gettysburg Address, which as an American, something that is near and dear to my heart. But, also with ambassadors, they're so key. And I really appreciated how you divided the community into listeners and learners, engagers, and then leadership, because we need everyone, really, right? And what I really like about the new system, which is an evolution of the two programs that were before, we now have a fellowship, is that we're focusing on merit, inclusion, and innovation. And if we can get this right, and if we can all work together to get this right, I really think we serve as a role model, not just for other people in Web3, but also generally. And maybe, Elon, are you listening? This is kind of from an efficiency and governance perspective, we can be adding value and setting that example. And I'm really proud and privileged to be a part of it.
So thank you so much, Chrissy. Thank you. And Pac-Man, do you want to say a little bit about how I dragged you into this, not kicking and screaming, and how you sort of see the role of social media marketing in this interim phase. Obviously, I think it would be quite clear, like sort of beyond, but what your plans are to work with us over the next few months.
Yeah. First of all, I have to say I can't match Chris's enthusiasm and passion. I mean, well, very good answer. I mean, you can just see her passion when she's talking. So it's just so nice to have somebody like Chrissy on our side.
Thank you.
Especially for my side, for those who don't know, I've been part of Polkadot ecosystem for about 7 years now, like from the early days before Polkadot was even live, just from Kusama days. I followed all the journey, and I know a lot of teams. I've met every team and attended events and stuff. I feel like this is where I can really kind of shape up the ambassador program. I understand that it has been tried a couple of times before, but I feel like now the way this is going, well done to Lucy and Don Diogo. It has been really, really well managed and well presented. And now from my side, this is all I do basically for other projects through Parkman Media. Managing ambassador programs, doing marketing, doing social. So like we can bring a lot of value into educating ambassadors, making the right reach globally, and doing some sort of marketing as well. So like everybody feels like being part of Polkadot ecosystem. You don't have to go through a lot of hurdles. You can easily be welcomed and be part of the Polkadot community. And I think that's what we've been kind of missing a little bit. Like we want to have a little bit wider outreach. We want to make a lot of noise. That we're not just about being parachains and just the tech. We care about the community. We want a part of. We want to welcome everybody that wants to in a way want to contribute any value to the Polkadot. We will welcome you with open arms, and we will give you every chance that you deserve. And I want to be, I think I can kind of be the medium between that through social media and marketing, where I can help people come on board and just kind of get their voice across.
Oh, Lucy, you're on mute. Hold on 1 second.
Still on mute.
Oh, yeah, okay, there. I think you're off mute now.
Evan muted me on purpose. What Patman also is he is an example of what we want to do for lots of areas of the ecosystem through this ambassador program. So he will be the North Star who will then connect the ambassador program to everything else. So I hope that him and Evan will be having a lot of conversations, that he will have aligned to marketing bounty. He will know what's going on there. We also hope that we will be able to kind of be the North Star for help desks when it comes to, business development. Where do leads go to help people navigate the different types of funding, to help people navigate governance, all of those sorts of things. So this is us kind of trialing that as well in this initial phase. Because decentralization is key, but to people coming in, it can be very confusing as to who do you speak to, where do you go, etc. And we hope that we will be able to bring that together in a completely free, decentralized way. Quickly then, well, not quickly, but the key dates, which I'm sure everyone wants to know about.
Lucy, sorry, I'm just going to quickly interrupt you. I just want to tell all of our viewers that if they do have a question, they can ask it in the chat. We can see what you're saying and what you're asking, and we'll have a few minutes at the end to answer your questions in real time. So if you have a question such as how do I apply, or when does this all begin, go ahead and ask and we'll answer.
Yeah,
back to you, Lucy.
I'm just going to touch on that before we open to the questions. Don Diego, if you don't mind going to slide 16. Just the one before. So as you will all know, last week, hopefully you'll all know, last week Ref 1267 passed, which was the manifesto, but then yesterday Ref 1287 passed, which gave us the money required to support everything that we are promising in Q1 2025. So applications are now open for seeding. We're hoping to seed around 100 ambassadors. As I said, we have about 70 people who have applied or are applying. We will share this slide deck with the links afterwards. And the interim fragment funding, we have received, I think, maybe 25, 30 applications so far. We do not have a specific number that we need to hit, but we do have 150,000 per month to go towards the fragment funding, and 33% of that is earmarked for the advisory board and the operational committee, because we know that this is going to take a lot to deliver everything we promised on. And then the other blocks will be split up according to what people have asked for. So if we have lots of people asking for 2.5K, we'll be able to fund a lot per month over, and then 3 months worth, so 7.5. We'll be able to fund a lot more if we have more people asking for 10,000. But this we'll be putting everything together, and the board will decide on who gets funding. Don Diego, if you could just go next slide. These are the key dates.
Sorry, Lucy, I just wanted to answer a question from the community real quick. They were asking where they can find that link, and the official Polkadot Twitter account will tweet out some more information and the link later today. So make sure you're following Polkadot. There will be more information shared there shortly. Yes,
and we also do have a sort of one of these one-pager websites, which somebody else from our board, Felix, who is also a Cardano ambassador, has kindly put together for us. It is not an official website, but it has everything on there, and we will be sharing that as well. Now we have everything approved, we will be setting up our Twitter page, etc., but we haven't been able to do any of that until we had the go-ahead from the community. So deadlines: this Friday is the Fragment Initiative Fund application deadline. Please reach out to Don Diego or myself on Telegram or wherever. I think most of you will have our contacts somewhere, or you'll be able to find someone who knows us, but we can also tweet those details out. If you have any questions at all or want to ask, have a call on your application. The 20th which is next Friday, a week on Friday, is for the seeding application deadline. And then we and the board will be working right up until Christmas to decide which initiatives will get funding so that they can start to prepare to kick off on the 6th of January. So everybody, whether it's a yes or a no for now, not a no, but a no for now, will be informed by the 24th of December. And for the seeding, everybody will be informed by the 31st of December. We are asking people to self-seed themselves in the application and provide evidence as to why. So we hope that people will kind of roughly be kind of getting it right, but please bear with us and kind of appreciate that we'll all be interpreting what has been laid out in the manifesto based on the applications that we have. I might think I'm a 4, but then we get 50 applications of people who are clearly much more experienced than I am. So maybe we need to rethink a bit, and I shuffle down to a 3. So there might be a little bit of that. So please don't take it to heart if you're not. It will all be based on, we'll be having to make, the board, sorry, will be having to make judgments based on who applies, because we've never done an activity like this, and we all have very different skill sets. Don Diego and I have come together like yin and yang to build this. If you were putting us aside each other, would I be a level 4? Technically, absolutely not. So it's going to be an interesting process for all of us to embrace. And yep, then, as you know, the Ambassador Fellowship palette will be a modified version of the palette for 2.0. So we have been told that should not that should be ready in Q1 2025. So initial seeding will not be on chain, but you will be put on chain in that seed as soon as it is ready. And the Fragment Initiative Fund ready by Q2 2025. The Technical Fellowship will be building that. And that's me done for presentation. I don't know if Don Diego wants to say anything, or we want to open up to questions, or Chrissy or Patman, anything to say?
Yeah, maybe just coming back to your question, Ivan, because I don't feel like it has really been answered in the end. So the interim phase will help us test all of that, but in theory, to fund the fragment palette, there will be an initial ref on OpenGov, and this ref will basically define the amount of fund allocated, for the number of slot, and for a duration. And anyone can actually post this ref, actually, but it will probably be a member of the op committee that will do that at the end of the interim phase. And the last note is that maybe we'll do another interim phase if the Fragment initiative fund is not on chain yet. We'll see, depending on the success of the first initiative.
Yeah.
Got it. We're going to open up the floor to questions here in a minute. But as this is a new program, it's very important that just the word gets out there. Pac-Man, it's very important that this is being marketed correctly. So I wanted to hand it over to you.
There's a few things that I want to highlight, because I'm having a look at the questions, and a lot of people are asking similar questions. And if we went into every single one of them, I think we'll be here for a couple of hours. So in the coming days, by tomorrow, I think we'll have a Twitter page for the Polkadot, Fellowship ambassadors, and there I'll add the link tree for Telegram and all the contacts that you need to have to ask any questions. You'll be able to either reach out to myself or Lucy. I'll be the main person for like the direct communication, like social side, marketing side of things. Anybody that has any questions, doesn't matter how silly you think they might be, just feel free to come and ask. Polkadot official page will retweet, the new account and stuff where you know how to contact the people in the ambassadorship. Secondly, a lot of people are asking who qualifies. Earlier on, I said anybody that feels like they feel like they're a good ambassador, they can add value to the community, to the project. Feel free to apply. There's no the best way or the worst way. Just you make an application. Give us the reasons what makes you a good ambassador, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah,
amazing.
So I'm just going to say that the new Twitter page will be ready by next Monday, because I don't want to make promises that we potentially can't keep, because the funding only went through today. But we do have a very keen.
Sorry, it's actually already live. I just need to do a couple of things. I've already made that. I'm one step ahead already. But yeah, we'll add a link tree and stuff. But yeah, by Monday at the latest, we'll have it live. We'll have it.
And just on the
Chrissy,
selection process, I just think it's important to say you don't have to be a technologist. Please, we want diversity of thought, right? Again, we've said a couple of times, everyone who's part of this has a very particular set of skills, and it might not be related to GitHub commits. It might be related to your expertise in social media, or, in my case, regulatory operations in that area, whatever it may be. And again, Lucy, I think you went through all the different ranks, and please watch that back. I think you summarized it beautifully. I won't say anything else, but again, diversity of thought is so important. And please, we invite all applications and welcome everyone.
100%.
Final thing as well, anybody that's interested and doesn't know enough about blockchain, Polkadot Blockchain Academy is actually doing a PBAX online course, which is also kind of in line with our ambassador program. So if you want to contribute and you don't know enough about blockchain, you don't feeling confident, I would highly recommend having a look at Polkadot Blockchain Academy for that PBAX course.
So and just to add on to that, as I said earlier, Rada, who is the education lead at the Web3 Foundation, has just finished building that program, and he will be in the incubation phase working with the ops committee. He will be building out something for us. So in fact, if you are only just starting to understand Polkadot, then please get involved now and have a voice in this system and learn, so that come Q2, one of the big things will be how we figure out what success looks like for this fellowship. And one of the things that I personally think is very important is not how many people we onboard, but how many people are engaged in the program. So how many people come in at rank 0 or are seeded at rank 1 for these purposes, and we can get to rank 2 by the end of Q2 2025. If we manage to get anybody who is rising up the ranks during an incubation phase, that's incredible. And that's kind of what, and then overall, I would like to see, not that I'm in charge, but I would personally like to see that as a metric for success. How many ambassadors have climbed 1 rank or 2 ranks each year, rather than simply the number of rank 0s that we've onboarded.
Speaking of climbing ranks, we have an audience question from Frodel Bohemian. They ask, I want to apply for the highest tier. Should I apply now for a lower tier and then later on be moved up to a higher tier? Or can you just maybe touch on that quickly again, like how this will work to move up the ladder?
Yes, it will be all of this, just to reiterate again, and Don Diego has said it a lot of times, we have to keep saying it. The manifesto is very much guidelines, and we will listen, learn, and adapt. So for the period for now, please read what we've set out in terms of listening, engaging, learning. If you are in the listening and learning stage, you can't really be applying for ranks 3 and 4 purely because you won't be able to operate as successfully. You'll probably be not setting yourself up for the best success. But if you come in at rank 1, there are firstly no time limits on, you have to have been there for 5 years to be able to climb up to rank 4. So it's purely about what you put in and what you achieve. So there is nothing to stop you becoming a rank 6 at the end of it if you start at rank 1. In fact, it's probably better because you've gone through the entire process and you're in some ways more qualified to lead this particular, you will have been there through it all. So apply for where your knowledge and expertise level sits at now, and use the tools that we will be building around you to climb.
Got it. So I know that you are aiming to have a lot of diverse voices be represented in the program, as Chrissy mentioned. I think, we're at 20,000 views on this live stream, so I think you're probably going to get a flood of applications. Careful what you wish for. You're going to have some busy work this weekend reviewing all of them.
Lucy, you didn't mention that.
Okay, so goodbye to your Christmas holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were and also bear in mind that we will be opening the doors to everybody from Q2 2025. What will be fantastic to ask for in Q1, this incubation phase, is if people that apply, and it's not a must-have, but it will be great for those people to apply to have potentially a little bit more time to give to the program, which it's not an expectation, but it is desirable to be able to give a little bit of time to want to grow and develop this program, because we are starting from scratch. It's going to be boots on the ground, all hands on deck, trying to deliver as a community what we've all promised here to each other and to ourselves. And if you'd rather just kick off with being an external ambassador, then great as well. But be kind of good if you wait till Q2.
Got it.
Yeah, let's say that if you want to apply for rank 4, we will expect you to take part of the fellowship governance too.
Yeah,
got it.
And to be
okay.
Like, there will be stuff to change and to refine. We already know that in the manifesto there is some aspect that will require refining. So yeah, the first quarter will be used for that too. Refine the manifesto before going on chain. So we'd like to welcome people that want to build that with us.
Yeah.
Got it.
And what probably is worth saying, because I have realized I've just opened up a can of worms, there is no official date for a second round of seeding, but we are very aware that there will be people who would want to be seeded later on. They want to see how this works out, or they don't have the time to put in to build the program. They just want to be an external ambassador, so they want to wait till later down the line. There will no doubt be another round of seeding, and there's no limit on how many people can be seeded. Ideally, we'll get to a point somewhere down the line where people just rise up the ranks, but we do expect there to be at least one more seeding round, if not more, in the future. So it's not kind of do or die. We're only doing 100 and then you start at 0. That's not the case at all. We'll do whatever the
Great. Well, lots of exciting things happening, and I'm going to give it to Don Diego for the closing word.
I just want to say that not that 1267 and 1287 have passed. it's now in the end of the community, so in your hands to make this fellowship a success and make Fragment a tool that will be meaningful and impactful. So yeah, we're welcoming really everyone to build that with us. The manifesto is proposedly not predeterministic and will rely on the social contract among fellows of the fellowship, to adapt, evolve, and be stronger. So yeah, just join us, come with us, and let's build the greatest on-chain community for the biggest DAO on earth.
It's a big, it's a big adventure and a big experiment, and I'm sure things will be tweaked, as Lucy kind of mentioned, coming in the coming months. But yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Learning and reiterating or iterating and just improving upon the processes. So lots to look forward to with the new Ambassador Fellowship. I want to say thank you to Don Diego, Chrissy, Packlin, and Lucy for joining. For those that are wondering, the Polkadot Twitter account will share the application links. And as Packlin mentioned, there will be a separate Twitter or X account created for the ambassadorship, likely early next week. Lucy, I just want to ask you one last time, when are the deadlines? It's probably the most important thing. What is the application deadline? Because it's coming up soon. Do you want to just tell the audience one more time? Don Diego?
Yeah, 13th.
So it would be December 13th, so next Friday for the Fragment Initiative Fund application, and December 20th for the seeding of the fellowship palette.
Okay. So you heard it there, folks. December 13th and December 20th, important dates. Put them in your calendar. If you are passionate about Polkadot and this ecosystem, you should apply. It's not just for developers. It's not just for techies. It's for anyone that's really willing to learn more about blockchain and this ecosystem.
Yeah,
So,
I would even say, Ivan, that it's especially for people that are not techies. And not, like there is the technical fellowship for that. This is for like the social layer of Polkadot, and yeah, so anyone is welcome.
And it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to I'll be the medium between the social, side and all the tech side. And I'm very excited to be working alongside Lucy and Don Diego. I think we didn't actually have a chance to give them a shout out and, thank them for all their efforts and stuff. And yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, thank you, Don Diego. Thank you, Lucy. And I'm just happy to be a part of it all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. And again, check out the Polkadot Twitter, as we'll share some more important info, including the application link. And enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Thanks for watching.